Thank you for joining Finesse Kitchen and learning how to make lavender French macarons. Let's get baking. First, we will start with 4.5 ounces of granulated sugar, 6 ounces of almond flour, 8 ounces of powdered sugar, 5 egg whites, violet food color, and a mixing bowl with the whisk attachment. Now we are going to place our egg whites into our mixing bowl with the whip attachment and place that in the mixer. Now we can turn our egg whites to a medium speed, about a 6, and get these whipping, and we're going to be looking for a medium stiff peak. Now we are going to sift together our almond flour and our powdered sugar. You just want to push these through a strainer and make sure that there are no large lumps. Once our egg whites have reached that medium stiff peak, we're just going to turn the mixer down 1 notch so the sugar doesn't fly out in our face, and then nice and steady add your 4.5 ounces of sugar. And as soon as that is in, you can start to add your food color. You can do as much or as little as you would like. And now we're going to mix for 3 minutes for the sugar to dissolve. Now that our egg whites are done whipping, we're going to start to fold these into our dry ingredients. You can see if we hold the bowl upside down, the egg whites don't fall out, so that's how we know that they're perfect and ready to go. And now we can start with about 1 good sized scoop of the egg whites into the dry ingredients and just start to fold these together to temper the mixtures together and get everybody used to each other. You only want to fold this about 10 times, don't mix it too far into a paste, and then we can add all the rest of the egg whites at once. Now we are just going to keep folding to combine all the dry ingredients and then make the consistency a little bit looser, so that way if you pipe a weird Hershey Kiss looking thing, that the batter will just settle down and be nice and flat. When your mixture is ready, you should be able to take a large scoop and just turn your spatula straight up and down, and then the batter will just ribbon off, and you can see everything that falls in the bowl just kind of melts. So you want it to be nice and shiny like that. Now we are going to fill our pastry bag fitted with a circle tip, and we can start to pipe our macarons. The ideal size is about the size of a $half, but really you can do whatever size you would like, just try to be as consistent as possible. Now that we are done piping our macarons, we're just going to set them aside to rest for about 30 minutes until they form a skin on top. In the meantime, we can make our lavender ganache. So we're going to start with 8 ounces of white chocolate, 4 ounces of heavy cream, and 1/4 cup of lavender flowers. First, we're going to pour our heavy cream into a pan and then add our lavender flowers, and we're just going to mix this and bring it to a full boil. Once it is at a full boil, now we are going to turn off the heat and set our bowl of chocolate on top to let the lavender flowers steep for about half an hour. Now that our macaron shells have that crust on them, the skin that has formed, they're ready to go in the oven. We are going to bake our macarons for about 14 minutes at 300 degrees. After that 30 minutes that the lavender flowers have been steeping in the cream, we can remove our bowl of white chocolate and just give that a whisk. And then we're just going to gently heat up the heavy cream with the flowers again and strain this over our white chocolate and mix to combine. When you are straining the heavy cream with the flowers over the white chocolate, make sure to use a spatula to push all of the oil out of the flowers so you get all that yummy flavor into your ganache. Now our macarons are perfectly baked and ready to come out of the oven and cool, so we can match them and fill with our ganache. Now that our macaron shells have cooled, we can peel them off of the paper and match. Hopefully you are consistent enough that every macaron shell has a matching buddy. While our lavender ganache is in the fridge, we can take our matched shells and put one face up and one face down. That way when our ganache is cool enough to pipe, we can just pipe right in a row and sandwich the top shell on top. Every once in a while, just make sure to check your ganache in the fridge and give it a stir. Once it is at that piping consistency where it's not too loose that it will just ooze down the shell, but not too cold that it's hard as a rock and you can't pipe, you can remove it from the fridge and fill a pastry bag with a plain tip and pipe all your ganache on your macaron shells. Now that all of your lavender ganache is piped onto your cookies, we can sandwich them together. Now our lavender macarons are complete. You can either eat them now or store them in the fridge for 3 to 4 days. Thank you for joining us at Finesse Kitchen and learning to make lavender macarons. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Happy baking!